This one was really disappointing. Well, the Hawks lose 2-0 to the San Jose Sharks, and this one really just is. I don't know what they were doing. Look, James Reimer was in net for San Jose. He had a great game, got the shutout. Good for him, I guess. I mean, the offense had a good first period. They were out shooting the Sharks by a ton, and that was it. Because by the time the Sharks had scored their only actual goal that wasn't the empty netter, uh, you know, they had officially taken over us on shots. So when we were, at the end, like the first period, we were up by like 8 shots. We were out shooting them pretty bad, and the offense just couldn't produce, and the Sharks pretty much was just putting it all on Fleury, and then again, eventually he cracked. I mean, no goalie is perfect. So, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to let those up. And you know what? It was just a simple wrist shot that beat them. And yeah, they were able to hold the door because the third period had pretty much nothing going on for it. And Timo Meier bangs in an empty netter, and that's the game. I mean, Timo Meier got both goals for San Jose as he took a shot from Balsers, which, I mean, yeah, Meier had a good game. He scored both goals. And that was really all that was wrote for this game because the Hawks couldn't do anything. They played well in the first period, couldn't get it past James Reimer. He stood at his ground. And then the rest of the game is just nothing. And to see a team come off a comeback win like this against St. Louis and then not score is kind of disappointing and a bit sad, I guess. It's just not what you expect. You'd at least expect them to put up a fight. Well, to be granted, this was a one-goal game until the last, minute and a half when Meier scored the empty netter. But it just doesn't feel the same because there's only 1-0. Which, shockingly enough, the Hawks have been a couple of these really low-scoring games this year. A couple 1-0 games. Just not real. There's not been a bunch of high-scoring games when the Hawks are playing. I'll be honest with you. So, frankly, it's whatever because, some teams just end up scoring more and end up becoming more shootouts. But the Hawks just aren't one of those teams. They're not having those kinds of games. And this is another example because, Fleury can't do everything. He had a good game. He only let up one goal. Too bad it wasn't enough to get the win because the offense couldn't score. This is one thing I'm noticing this season. With Fleury and net and with getting Jones, when Derek King took over and Seth Jones and Marc-Andre Fleury started to play well, and that meant the rest of the defense was starting to play better. And the defense has become better for the Hawks. Much better than we saw last year. Whew, that was bad. This year, especially in the last month, it's gotten better. Since Derek King took over, the defense has gotten better. The entire team as a whole has gotten better. And the offense just can't score. They're struggling to put meaningful goals in. And when I say that, I'm meaningful amounts of goals. They're struggling to put in, 4 a game, 3 a game. Which, I mean, that's very high, obviously. But, you expect them to at least put in 2 or 3 a game. And we're not doing that. And we got shut out once last season. We've been shut out a couple times this year. And it's just, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel good. These kinds of games don't really have much substance to them either. So there's not really much to talk about. I just it's a game that happened that we ended up losing. That's what I'm taking away from this game. And we got shut out and the offense couldn't score. And I mean, for example, 1-0 games can be good. 2-1 games can be good. The game last year against Nashville that was like 1-2, Lankin had like a 40-save performance and ended up losing in the shootout. That was a great game. Even though I didn't, like the outcome, it was still a good game that was low scoring. But when it comes to like this one, not really. The 1-0 game that the Hawks played against Vancouver where Fleury was spinning on top of his head and basically won that game for us was a really good game. this didn't really have much. It just kind of was a game that was played and that you're going to forget about in a couple days. There's nothing. There's no real significance in this game. But we begin a 3-game road trip, 5 of 6 on the road. We have Washington, the Rangers, and then the Islanders all on the road. Then we play the Rangers back at home. So this is going to be a bit of a tough stretch. Washington and the Rangers are very good right now. The Islanders are on like a terrible losing streak now. Their losing streak starting to get up there. It's actually starting to become pretty significant. And well, the Hawks will beat the Islanders, hopefully. And whether or not they get another win is, up in the air. They got to play a really good game to get that win. And then they come home and play the Rangers. And then they're out, I think, to Montreal and Toronto. I think that's what comes after, which Montreal's having an abysmal season so far. And Toronto, as per usual in the regular season, is playing very well. So this is going to be a bit of a tough stretch for this team. And this is going to be rough, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully the Hawks can get some wins out in this next handful of games against the Eastern Conference competition. So that is going to do it for this one. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more content, and I'll see you guys next time.